Okay.
I'm gonna grab my other phone real quick.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Come back a little bit. It's gonna be a vertical. Okay, we already got some questions.
All right,
All
awesome.
right, all
Sounds
right,
good.
everybody, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. All right, guys, welcome to the WRL YouTube page. And again, big old winter storm in the area.
Yep.
We got tons of ice. We got everything. If you guys aren't like and subscribe to this live stream, if you aren't subscribed to the page, we're keeping you up with the latest. We're here with Grant Skinner. Thank you so much for donating some of
Yeah,
your
of
time
course. Yeah.
for the Q&A. And I guess let's get started. So we have a question from, we're starting off a little bit early, so guys, come on in, get comfortable. If you aren't subscribed, you can't send a message, send a question. Make sure you subscribe to send a question. Also, a little bit housekeeping. If I skip over your question, just resend it, and we'll go from there. Joe, is this storm expected to cause black ice problems overnight or early tomorrow morning?
Yes, I think we can start to see some ice on the roads and some black ice as early as after midnight tonight. And the reason for that is once we start to see that transition from the sleet that we're seeing right now over to freezing rain, we're going to start to see that ice accumulate pretty quickly, not just on our roads, but also trees, power lines. And so we're going to be watching for those outages to start to pick up. Again, anytime after midnight, all the way through around lunchtime tomorrow. And it could continue to accumulate into the afternoon and evening on Sunday as well. It's just we'll make that transition over to rain eventually, which should help us out a bit. But we're expecting freezing rain for a good period of time, so folks need to be prepared for ice on the roads as early as overnight tonight and all the way through Sunday and into Monday even.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. So actually, I'm going to step off camera. Go
Yeah.
ahead, explain what's going on right now.
Yeah, I had this pulled up. I wanted to start with this because you can actually see all the snow reports and ice reports as well across much of the really the Ohio Valley, all the way down through the Midwest, down through Texas and the Southeast. Not more so seeing rain back towards southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and portions of Georgia and Florida. But as you go north, you start to see that transition. That area in pink here that stretches from parts of Texas all the way through Tennessee and western portions of North Carolina. That's where you have that mixed precipitation. And just north of that, you've got snow that stretches all the way back towards Missouri and back to the west and southwest towards parts of Oklahoma and Texas. So it's a far-reaching system, and we're watching that batch of warm air to move in to start to transition our sleet to more of that freezing rain. So right now you're seeing a lot of the sleet right now, and it's starting to become a lot more steady across the area. As something new as the past, I would say 15 to 20 minutes, it's starting to become a lot more steady in areas that are along and north and west of the triangle, and will become more widespread as we go throughout the course of the night. But then we'll see that transition over to freezing rain as we head into the morning hours tomorrow.
Perfect. So Joe has another question. Joe would love to know where you're watching us from. Just go
Yeah.
ahead, drop that location in. How should people prepare for the homes if the power goes out for several hours or days?
Well,
That's a common question.
Yeah, well, hopefully you've got, ahead of time. I know a lot of folks prepare food-wise by maybe having a cooler with ice already ready to go. That way you can transition some of that food after a period of time. Of course, for a little while, your fridge and your freezer will maintain a temperature for, I forget what the exact amount of time is, but quick Google search, you can find out the exact timing on that. But then after a certain period of time, you'll want to transition that over to maybe a cooler with some ice to make sure that that food stays fresh. Otherwise, you can start cooking on the meat or whatever else you have going. And then make sure you've got a safe heating source as well, because if the power goes out, have some sort of generator or something like that to make sure to keep you warm. Make sure it's only safe heating sources, though. You don't want something that's going to, spread toxic fumes into your home. If you're going to have a
Definitely.
generator like that, you want it to be outside. You don't want it to be inside.
Definitely.
But yeah, just make sure you have safe heating sources, plenty of blankets, keep everyone in the home in kind of a confined space so you keep that heat intact, and then close your blinds and stuff like that to make sure heat stays in as well. That's a big thing.
All right, all right. It is officially 9 o'clock, guys.
Yep.
If you're just hopping into this live stream, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. You're going to get content you're not going to get anywhere else. We're keeping you up to date with the latest. This is a major winter storm. Lots of ice is going to be on the ground. The worst is yet to come. We're
Yeah.
talking about the midnight range to noon on Sunday.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've already been checking power outages and other information from stuff out back to our west and southwest. And it's clear that the area of mixed precipitation that's actually all the way back towards parts of Texas, you can see a line of where there's that mixed precipitation and there's power outages coinciding. So that's why we've been stressing so much. I know folks are like, man, you've been talking about the same thing over and over again. Weather alert day, weather alert day. Like, well, why is this such a big deal? Well, it's because we're expecting direct impacts to travel and power over the next handful of days. And I know it's been repetitive and we've been hitting it hard, but it's just what we expect based off of the predictions for the amount of freezing rain that we'll get. We're expecting these kind of impacts. Now, if it had become a little bit less than what we were expecting, then that's great. We're hoping for a better outcome. But based off of the latest forecast, how much freezing rain we're expecting widespread impacts in terms of travel and power outages over the next 24 hours, and that could continue into the start of the week as well. Remember, when you have those power outages, power lines that, break, you've got tree limbs down also affecting power lines that can cause lasting issues. And if it's like not just one area, which it won't be just one area that's affected by this, power crews have to go to all of these different areas to resolve it. And it's not just us seeing these problems, it's all across much of the Mid-South, all the way up to the Ohio Valley. And so it's going to take some time. Please be patient with first responders and crews that are going to be out trying to, resolve the situation.
Exactly. So walk me through another map that you got.
Yeah,
going
sure.
on.
So this is current radar right now. This is zoomed in. We've got some snow off to our north, mainly a sleet, like a steady sleet for most spots.
Absolutely.
I know it shows the snow right here, but you have to remember that the radar beam actually shoots up at an angle into the cloud.
Kat was talking about
Yeah,
that.
so it's not just a straight beam. It's slightly tilted upwards. That way you can shoot up into the atmosphere. And so as it's shot up into the air, it shows as snow here, but it's likely melting just a little bit. There's a brief warm layer right now, so we're mainly getting steady sleet for our northwestern spots. And we're getting reports from the Weather Service, from all you and report it. Please keep sending those in to WRAL.com/report it, those photos and videos. It's so vital to help us understand what's going on wherever you are and to paint a better picture for folks at home. So please keep sending those in. And it's very cold right now as well. So anything that falls has a likelihood of sticking. Temperatures in the teens and 20s right now. We're down to 19 in Roxborough and in South Hill, with pretty much everyone else seeing 20s, and the wind chill is at 9 degrees in Raleigh and Durham, 7 in Roxborough. This is why we encourage folks to get prepared ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be dangerously cold this evening. Wind chills in the single digits is something you don't want to stay outside in. And also, when this precip starts, it's going to stick. And so we're going to see problems on the roads.
We got a question from Lenny out
Yeah.
of Cary. Thank you so much for watching,
Thank
Lenny.
you. Yeah.
Any chance for grapple?
We could see a brief mix in there. Right now, we're getting mainly sleet. We could see a little of that grapple mix in, but I'm expecting more of a changeover from sleet over to freezing rain. Regardless, it's going to be some sort of ice pellets that end up falling at first, and then as we get that warm layer to expand in the between. So there's a cold air mass at the top. You got a warm layer in the middle, and then a cold base, like down at the surface. So as that warm layer expands, there's a longer period of time for that snow that started at the top to melt into freezing rain. And then right before it hits the surface, that's when you get that freezing. It freezes on contact. That's where you talk about that, the limbs having ice accumulation, the roads, stuff like that.
And quickly define grapple for the people that don't know. It's a type of snow, correct? And then we have another question after that.
Yeah, so it's another form of ice pellet. Again, you got a little bit of a layer of melting in the atmosphere, but you got so much of a cold layer underneath that it ends up refreezing on top of itself, so it creates a kind of an ice pellet.
So we got a question from Cannon, a little bit off topic. Is thunder ice a thing?
Yeah, if you have enough instability in the atmosphere for um, storms to develop. Now, storms aren't just the rainstorms that we see. They
Exactly.
can also form during snow as well, and during ice storms. It all depends on if you have enough instability in the atmosphere for those taller cumulonimbus clouds to develop, and with that, a storm, which then creates lightning here and there. It's possible. We could see maybe a little bit of that, but I'm thinking this is more going to be steady precipitation, just because we're on the north side of this warm front with the low that's well to our south.
All
Area.
right, Brad from Durham actually has a good question.
Okay.
Either of you have any hot fire bars for a winter storm night? I don't know if you're talking about drinking bars or actually a fire that we have, but we're going to be here, and I know that for sure.
Yep.
But particularly if there are any businesses open at all at this point.
Yeah, I think a lot of them close early. I mean, we were talking about it on WRAL. Remember that if you're watching on this live stream, when you get finished up here with our Q&A, to go to the other live stream that's got continuous coverage. Kat's on air right now, actually. She's covering Futurecast, what to expect, and now she's covering looks like ice accumulation as well. So we're constantly covering, what's actively going on. So you can watch that after the fact. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about how the businesses have been closing early in anticipation for people to stay home and stay off the roads.
Absolutely. So, Brad, if you want to explain your question a little bit more, we'll love to answer that in detail right there. All right, Lenny has another question out of
Okay.
Carrie again. When measuring ice on the branches, do we measure it perpendicular to the ice? Does that matter?
Yes, so you'll want to. So if you have a branch, and I'm not sure if I have the photo pulled up on here. I'm not sure if I have it in my show, but regardless, you have the branch. You measure. I guess it would be parallel to where the ice is forming. So the ice accumulates on top of that branch. You'll measure parallel to it. So if this is the branch right here, and you got the ice accumulating on top of it, I know this is a picture of the thing. Ignore that. Ice is here. It's accumulating upwards like this. Measure parallel, and then measure parallel on the bottom. So you measure the top and the bottom of that branch, and then you take the average of the two. And that's where that's your ice accumulation for that branch.
Oh, well, that's great. That's great. So, talk to me about some of the other maps as we wait for more questions.
Yeah.
If you're up into this live stream, make sure that you are subscribed, like the live stream, and also after this, go ahead and go to News Plus, which is our other live stream, 24/7. Get it wherever you need it. We have Kat who's on there now for continuous coverage on the storm. Also, if you want to update on how the peace walk is going with the monks, we'll be talking about that as well. So, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to show the winter alerts. A lot of folks have been wondering, are we going to see a transition from a winter storm warning to an ice storm warning? I know we have a lot of alerts going on right now. The reason why the National Weather Service ended up going with a winter storm warning is we were expecting a brief mix. And that's what we've seen today, a little bit of snow and now mainly sleet across the area that will then transition to freezing rain. If we were just seeing freezing rain, like areas back towards Asheville, Charlotte, Greenville, Rock Hill, down through Augusta, Georgia, Athens, Georgia, are mainly going to see that ice or that freezing rain. They've got the ice storm warning there. For us, we're expecting to see a wintry mix, and we have seen that. Now, from this point forward, we're leaning more towards transitioning over to freezing rain eventually. Right now, it's steady sleet. So those winter alerts, those last all the way through Monday afternoon. We're past the low impact timing of this. We're now watching for the high impact parts. That starts overnight tonight and lasts through the day tomorrow. So we're past the 1 p.m., 7 p.m. stuff from Saturday. Yeah, we're going to slowly see impacts continue to work its way into the area.
Absolutely. So basically what you're saying is people going to bed, make sure you're at home.
Yep.
Stay at home, please. You guys are going to go to sleep and wake up to a nice frosty wonderland. And it's going to be some pretty dangerous roads as well.
Yeah. And I think it might be, you typically when you see like snow, right?
Yes.
You wake up and you're like, wow, this looks incredible outside because it's got this, it's this huge winter wonderland. Kids can go outside and make snowballs. It's going to be different from a typical snow event, because you've got mainly ice. So you might go outside, it doesn't look too bad out there, but then you're going to look at the roads and there's going to be that kind of that layer of ice that's just caked on there. And you're going to quickly realize why, ice is very dangerous. We were hoping for more so snow and not ice, because when you have that freezing rain, ice can accumulate pretty quickly and cause some pretty bad travel experience.
Absolutely. And that's going to carry over into Monday.
Yep.
People want to start their work week please do so safely as well,
Yep.
because this whole weather system, we have a WAD until Tuesday.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so that's great. Let's see if we have any more questions. We don't have any more questions in the chat.
Okay.
Let's go through a couple more maps.
Yeah, so I wanted to show this graphic here. This is kind of breaking down our precipitation chances all the way through Sunday. So 7 a.m. all the way through around lunchtime, a good chance for that freezing rain. So expect more widespread impacts from that all the way through lunchtime. That's why we emphasize from around midnight tonight all the way through noon tomorrow. That's going to be the highest impact window for a lot of freezing rain, a lot of accumulation on the roadways and on our power lines as well. Once you get past midnight, then it starts to drop off 4, 5 o'clock down to 60%. We've been looking at maybe a lull on forecast models and the total precip falling, but then that picks back up again as we go late in the day on Sunday. But the good news is, with most forecast model runs late in the day on Sunday, we've seen a transition over to rain all the way through Monday morning, early Monday morning. So that transition would be huge, because if we can get to more of rain than freezing rain, with temperatures pushing above freezing, that would be very beneficial for our roads, because they're already going to have ice caked on, and we don't want any more ice. So,
All right, let's go. And we do have a response, and I
okay.
think this is actually a good education one. Southern Boy, he wants to know, why do we keep pushing nonsense? And what we'll say to that is, this system is very real. So I would love to know more specifically, what do you mean by that? And you could talk about, get some more maps to show
Yeah, I mean,
how we got to these conclusions.
yeah. So, and I've seen a lot of comments over the past handful of days. People,
Yes.
questioning why we're pushing this so much. Like, do we have some sort of thing we're just trying to push here? We understood days out that this was going to be an impactful weather system.
Yes.
At first, we did think it was going to be mainly snow, because that's how deep the cold air mass was with previous forecast models. But we also let you know that when you're 5 days out from an event, there are going to be changes. You're looking at model trends. So that's why we said the forecast wasn't set in stone. It's not about not knowing what's going on,
Exactly.
like altogether. It's just the fact of there are uncertainties because we're so many days out. I wish it was more certain. And forecast models will get better. Of course, AI and other things will help with that in the future. But going forward, things continue to improve over time. And by 2-3 days ago, we were pushing freezing rain, freezing rain, freezing rain. I mean, that was going to be the main impact. Yes. And that's what we're expected to see overnight tonight. So it's not nonsense. This is going to affect people's lives, their commutes in the morning. We're not trying to push anything of. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to scare people. That's not what the point is. We're trying to just inform people, let people know what's going to happen, because we know there are going to be concerns of travel and power in the next couple days.
And one quick little bit.
Yeah.
I remember over last weekend, now we're in this weekend, last weekend, I saw a lot of Twitter pages pushing 2 feet of snow,
Yep.
a foot of snow,
Yep.
and we did not participate in that.
No.
In that, because we saw, you guys saw, that's probably not going to happen.
No.
Talk a little bit about what makes you different, what makes WRAL Weather Team different than what you would see on Twitter or True Social or any other platform.
Well, they're probably looking at raw model data, and they're also probably just going to their phone weather app sometimes, and they're just taking a screenshot, and they're saying, hey, look, it's my app saying, 12 plus inches. And when you have that raw data output that's 7 days out, it's going to look crazy. I mean, it's the same thing with hurricane season. I mean, we see it all the time with forecast models putting out a Category 5 hurricane making landfall in a specific place a week and a half out from that landfall. And you just can't take that as set in stone. That's why we always emphasize those forecast models are only as good as their initial data. Yes. If the storm has not even formed yet, then it's going to have a really hard time having an exact idea of what happens. We consider all of those things. The timing we are at from the event, local influences. We have a cold air damming pattern that plays a huge part into it. We know more about that than just a forecast model does, because we have forecast cold air damming multiple times. And the other Mets here, I've only been here for 6 months, but the other Mets here, 7 months, I guess. But other Mets here, I've been here for a longer period of time. They're from here. I mean, they know that we know how cold air damming works.
They live and breathe it. And
Yes.
I will say this, Joe Council, watching from Benson, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. Thank you so much for watching. Lenny wants to say, please tell Grant we appreciate him ever since he's joined
Oh,
WRL.
thank you. I
You got a
appreciate that.
couple comments about that and your
Thank you.
coverage
I
of
appreciate
the
it.
team. People really love seeing you with the team and you interacting. And welcome to the team. I
Yeah,
know
thank
it's
you. Yeah.
7 months,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
we
but
love having
it
you
feels
here.
like, I mean, it's flown by, honestly. I'm ready for more years to come. I've loved being on this team and being able to inform and educate and do things like this as well. These have been fun. The Q&As have been
Yes.
great. We're going to do much more of them in the future. Maybe make it a more regular thing. So
Absolutely. We
yeah.
got a couple questions. They're coming in now,
Okay, yeah.
and we love that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, like this video, and then afterwards we're going to go to our News Plus live stream, keep you guys up to date as well. Mercedes says, thank you for being so passionate about doing what you do. Ed, out of control, North Carolina. Is it true that most built-in mobile weather apps use only raw data or cheap vendors for forecasts?
Yes, especially the Apple Weather app. For example, you look at that; it's going to give you output, raw data output, far out in advance, and it's just not going to be. There's no human influence on it because what it's trying to do is take the model data and look at a specific point. They don't have forecasters that are checking your local area every single day, so it's just going to give you a bunch of numbers, a bunch of information, and it's hard to decipher through that. The nice thing about the WRAL weather app is, which I'd love to, I'm going to talk to engineering maybe about this, maybe getting a widget like the Apple weather app has.
Yeah.
I think a widget would be cool to have on there because not only do we have more accurate current information because we have access to all the local sites and stuff like that for temperature, dew point, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But on top of that, we have written information. I mean, every single shift we're updating the wording about what's to come. If it's an
Yes.
alert day, what that means. If there's going to be storms in the future, what does that mean? If we have snow like this, like what does it mean impact? Like what are the
Absolutely.
impacts going to be?
Absolutely.
And on top of that, we have specific graphics for this area. Apple Weather and all those other apps don't have that. You won't get anything like that. You want to have your local app and you want the WRAL weather app because you're going to have that local touch. We know exactly what's going on in this specific area because we're only forecasting for this area. We're not forecasting through a computer model for every area around the country and the world. And yeah.
Yep, and then Colonel wants to respond to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
He was wondering that since you guys have been very good with the forecast, human output, as you mentioned, helps, and Apple still has snow for precipitation.
Yep, and what's funny is it had a lot of snow all the way up until I think maybe a day or two ago, and I checked last night, and then it's finally less than an inch of snow. And I was like, all right, now you want to catch up to the
So
game.
we're going to blitz through some of these. Summer, do we have school on Monday? Yes or no? Summer, we don't know where you're watching us from, but 9 says out of 10. Probably not. I would go to WRL.com. We have all the closing information for you.
Yep.
All right. The human touch matters. Thank you, Lynn. You've been watching this whole time. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Here we go. James, will it be plain rain late Sunday in Raleigh? Plain rain?
Yeah, so I think you transitioning from freezing rain to just regular rain instead. And I think we could see that transition late in the day. It's all going to depend on when that warmer air can work its way into the area. And as of now, that looks like late in the day on Sunday. What's interesting is a lot of forecast models have the mixed precipitation up until probably lunchtime, 1 o'clock, and then a brief lull. And then by 7, 8 o'clock, we get that mixed precipitation again for a brief period of time, that freezing rain. And then it finally transitions to just plain rain, your regular old rain, which would be beneficial for us. If we can transition to regular rain instead of freezing rain and temperatures can push above freezing, that would help with our ice conditions on the roads. I'm still worried about Monday morning, no matter what, because it's going to be cold, but
It's going to be really cold.
and it's going to be windy as well. And Tuesday morning, especially, because that's going to be way colder. We're talking possibly in the single digits for some lows, and wind chills definitely in the single digits. So.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. I am not prepared for Tuesday. I will tell you that right there. Here we go. Local meteorologists are so important. Hey there, here in Apex, is it possible we can have some thunder, freezing rain tomorrow? I think we touched on this a little bit.
Touched on it a little
earlier.
bit. It all depends on if we get enough instability. We're going to continue to watch out for it into tomorrow. If we see signs pointing towards some thunder ice or thunderstorms developing of any sort, we'll keep you updated on that. We're not expecting widespread storm with this because, we're right now just looking at that transition to freezing rain and that lasting through a lot of the day tomorrow. That's the main impact we're watching for on Sunday. And then with it staying cold next week, ice lingering across the area. While you're looking through some more comments and stuff, I'm gonna keep looking through some of my graphics. I do want to share some reported photos. We've mentioned that this is so vital to help folks understand what's going on across the area. This is from Don Edwards out of Nashville. Some of that sleet on there. I know it doesn't look significant. I had someone comment and they're like, this looks like nothing. It isn't that crazy, but we like these pictures and these videos because we're able to know in your specific area if we've transitioned to sleet or freezing rain. So by seeing this, that just helps us to understand that. Even though it doesn't look like a lot and the accumulation isn't that crazy quite yet, when we have more consistent sleet, then transitioning over to freezing rain, it will look more significant at times. And then Waylon out of Rocky Mount, you can see more of that sleet on the back of the car. I remember even earlier today in Raleigh, I saw some of that sleet, bouncing off the hood of my car whenever I was driving past Western Boulevard. There was some of that sleet that was ongoing. And then Bill Hugh Smith out of Rocky Mount, more of those ice pellets on the deck there. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lenny, to answer your question, we don't promote anything other besides the dual Doppler radar. So hopefully everybody goes on WRAL.com. You get that weather, go to our radar. You can get the same radar that these guys use to build their forecasts as well.
Yeah,
so hopefully that answers your question.
And I'll make a quick note about Dual Doppler 5000 and the app. From my experience, and out of all the radars I've used on, I use an app that has a lot of meteorological data on it, but I primarily, when I'm on my phone, I'm using the WRAL weather app and I'm using Dual Doppler 5000. Yes. And the reason for that is, I know we have a promotion about this, and you probably have seen it a lot, talking about us getting the information 6 minutes faster. We really do get the information faster because it's our radar, and so we're directly getting fed that data, and because we have that radar, we get 1 minute data. The Weather Service radar is not going to get that fast of data. We're the only radar in Wake County. So we get that information faster, and because of that, we're able to let you know in advance, 6 minutes faster, when we're going to see that precip and what kind of precip we're seeing. It is super vital. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say I use Dual Doppler 5000 myself, both at work and on the radar app on my phone whenever I'm, not the radar app, but the radar function on the WRAL weather app when I'm out and about.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the questions, we got another one.
Okay.
We've been going live for a couple minutes now.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're watching this, like, subscribe, and then after this, we're going to take you to our other live stream and get you guys caught up on what's happening with the latest. James, why does radar indicate snow in portions of Orange County, but reports are that it's sleet? Just curious.
Yeah, and I'll zoom in back on the area. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, but there is this layer here. You've got this layer in pink here. That's definitely showing up as mixed precipitation. But you have to remember that our radar beam isn't shot flat. It's shot at an angle a little bit. And the reason why it's shot at an angle is so it can shoot upward into the clouds. So that's why you see there's that cone, kind of that circle right around the radar where there's no radar data being picked up because it's being shot at an angle. So if there are, any elements right around the radar, I can't pick it up. It's being shot at an angle. There's information that's going to be missed. That's only directly right around the radar. For the most part, anywhere outside of that, you get really good data. And you've got all this mixed precipitation, that pink that you're seeing here, but then you see that mix over to the blues, the snow here. Well, since it's being shot at an angle up into the atmosphere, you're at a higher part of the atmosphere up here than you are towards Raleigh, because when the radar beam is over Raleigh, it's going to be at a lower height than it's going to be whenever you're up in Roxborough, because it's shot at an angle from southeastern Wake County upwards. And so based off of that, there's probably snow at this height, but then it probably briefly melts for a period of time, and so then you're getting sleet instead. So it's all about the beam being shot at an angle. It's picking up something probably in a higher part of the atmosphere, but then melts more, and that's when you get that sleet, the ice pellets, instead of getting just snow. Now you might still see a little bit of snow up in our northern spots because we do have a deeper, colder air mass up here, but in general, most all the reports have been sleet, and that's why we've seen sleet, is because it's going to differ on radar for a period of time. Once we fully make that transition, get warmer air, this will likely transition to just seeing that pink for the most part.
Yeah, well, that was fantastic, and I'm going to explain that to the next Uber driver who complains about the forecast and then not lining up with what they see. And we totally understand now because, again, the way technology works, we've been going live for almost 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Is there any final graphs or maps that you want to show the people?
I mean, I will go back to the timeline again here, just to reiterate that once we get past midnight tonight, all the way through around midday tomorrow, that's when we're looking at the majority of the freezing rain. So that's going to be the highest impact part of the event, and the roads will be very rough. And I'm expecting the roads to stay rough as we head into Monday and Tuesday. We are hoping that with those temperatures trending, above freezing into Monday morning, we start to get some of that melting a little bit. And with more sunshine Monday afternoon, that will help as well. But in general, if you can, stay inside and do not travel. If you are a first responder, we appreciate all the work that you're doing. The linemen, everyone that's doing all the hard work out in the elements to get to work. We appreciate all that you do, and we understand that you're going to have to be out and about. So please be very, very careful if you have to be out, because there are going to be a lot of slick spots, especially in the Sunday and into Monday. Just stay in touch with your friends and family. Make sure they're safe. Make sure they're staying warm, especially when the power goes out. If you got neighbors close by and you can easily access them, text them, call them, maybe walk over real quick, safely walk over. Do that. And last thing, please continue to send your stuff to report it on WRAL.com. I know we hit that a lot, but it is so, so important. We share that out on our newscast. We share it out during these things. We share it everywhere. And it's so important to understand what's going on in your specific area. So
Absolutely. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching.
yeah, thank you so much.
Any
Seriously.
other last questions? I'm checking the chat.
Okay.
Lenny, does WRL have comfy beds for camp tonight? Shout out to Ms. D. I will
Yes.
always say that. Also, our management, they're taking good care of us.
Yes, they are.
We have food, we're warm, we
Yep.
have cots and beds.
I haven't posted my setup yet, but I know a lot of the other Mets have posted their setup with, they've got air mattresses set up. I have an air mattress set up with some sheets and a nice blanket. So the goal is after I'm done doing my stuff, I think I'm working through around 2:30 in the morning, because we're going to do continuous cut-ins. Even after continuous coverage wraps up around 11:30, there will be cut-ins that continue to air. And so we'll have updates all the way through the morning hours, and then Chris Michaels takes over in the morning, and then Elizabeth will be in. Our whole entire team is going to be on top of this, continuously bring coverage. So I'll get some rest. I'll be back in for the evening shift again, and I'm sure we'll be doing more Q&As and more information for y'all. So keep tuning in for that.
Grant Skinner, WRL, follow him on Instagram.
Yep.
That way you guys can catch up with him. Again, I appreciate y'all's forecast. Shout out to you, Cornell. Thank you so much for watching. It's happening in Ali, hopefully I'm saying that right, to midnight or 1 a.m. You're looking at kind of the start of that midnight, correct?
Yeah, around midnight, 1 a.m. That's we're expecting more of the transition to freezing rain, and so that's where we have these red arrows for the high impact part of the event. So like if you have to be out driving in snow or ice, the highest impact will be past 1 a.m. and continuing through the day tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully you got that. Hopefully that answers your question. Just got a push notification. A wintry mix is approaching our area.
Yep. That was in the weather app?
Back at it. Yeah, from the weather app.
Hey, that's huge. Let me see if I can kind of highlight that on here. I got so many other notifications on my phone too, so I got to clear these out for a second.
Exactly.
Because I'm getting information for my team as well. Let me see if I can clear that out for a second. And then I got all these reminders. But the bottom line is, weather app is great because you literally get notifications anytime you have any sort of precipitation or storm entering your area. It'll tell you ahead of time, hey, we're detecting a wintry mix. We're detecting this.
Exactly.
And that's why the app is great. I mean, notifications on for that. That's huge.
Exactly. So we're going to get back to it, guys. Make sure you guys stay tuned. We have a News Plus live stream on this YouTube channel.
Yes.
So you guys don't miss anything. Stay up to date. We'll be on there all throughout the night and in the morning.
See you all at 11.
See you guys. Peace.